What happens when an abandoned space station sends a distress signal centuries after it was supposed to be destroyed? You won't believe what David Chen and Captain Rebecca Holt discovered inside, and how it could change humanity's future forever. The emergency distress signal came through at 3:24 ship time, piercing through the static like a knife. Engineer David Chen's fingers froze above his console as the ancient code scrolled across his screen. Coordinates leading to an unmapped sector of space. The transmission was fragmented, filled with bursts of white noise and garbled voices speaking in languages he didn't recognize. It wasn't just old. It felt alien. Captain Rebecca Holt entered the bridge just as the signal cut out, leaving only silence behind. "That transmission," she said, her voice steady but carrying an edge that made Chun look up sharply. "It's from Valdir Station." The name hung in the air like a ghost. Official records claimed it had been decommissioned decades ago after a catastrophic systems failure, its crew lost to history. Yet here was proof it still existed, drifting somewhere beyond known space lanes. As their research vessel approached the coordinates, Chun couldn't shake the feeling they were being watched by something far older and more intelligent than anything humanity had encountered before. The ship's sensors picked up anomalies, gravitational fluctuations, energy signatures that shouldn't exist, and faint readings suggesting organic material embedded within the station's metallic structure. The station emerged from the void like a leviathan rising from deep waters, its bulk dwarfing their research vessel. Rust-colored panels reflected the distant starlight in fractured patterns, while sections of the hull seemed to shimmer with an unnatural energy. Chen's instruments went haywire as they approached, readings spiking and dropping without pattern. Temperature gauges fluctuated wildly, sometimes registering near absolute zero, other times soaring to levels that should have vaporized the station entirely. "It's like the station is alive," he muttered, watching his screens fill with conflicting data. Captain Holt ordered a perimeter scan, her trained eyes catching movement along the station's surface, shadows that shouldn't exist in the vacuum of space. They flickered in and out of view, too fast for human perception to fully process. When their docking clamps engaged with the station's airlock, a deep vibration coursed through the ship, accompanied by a sound that resonated in their bones rather than their ears. It wasn't mechanical, nor was it natural. It was something entirely different. As they suited up for EVA, both felt the weight of history pressing upon them, though neither could articulate why. The airlock cycled open with a groan that echoed through their suits' comms, revealing a corridor that defied all known construction methods. Walls rippled with organic patterns, pulsing faintly in hues of violet and gold. Chen's suit sensors registered temperature fluctuations that shouldn't be possible, while Captain Holt's tactical display showed shifting mass concentrations within the walls themselves. Gravity fluctuated erratically, sometimes pulling them sideways or even upwards. Strange symbols appeared on surfaces, rearranging themselves as they watched. "These aren't just markings," Chen observed, recording furiously. "They're responding to our presence." Their path led to a chamber filled with crystalline structures that emitted harmonic tones when touched. Each note seemed to unlock new sections of the station, revealing technology far beyond human capability. But with each discovery came the growing realization that they weren't alone. "We're just beginning to understand the true nature of this place, and you won't believe what awaits inside those airlocks." In the heart of the station, they found the first signs of former inhabitants, personal effects scattered like frozen moments in time. A child's toy floated in zero gravity, its cheerful colors faded but intact. Nearby, a workstation displayed logs in multiple languages, some recognizable, others completely alien. Chen's hands trembled as he accessed the primary database, finding references to experiments in dimensional manipulation and quantum consciousness transfer. "This wasn't just a research station," he whispered, his voice cracking. "It was a proving ground for technologies that could rewrite reality itself." Captain Holt discovered maintenance records indicating periodic visits by unknown entities long after the official abandonment date. The final entry, dated centuries ago, contained a single phrase repeated in dozens of languages. They are learning. Both explorers felt the weight of unseen eyes upon them, though their scans showed nothing present. The deeper they ventured, the more the station seemed to adapt to their presence. Lights dimmed and brightened in response to their movements, and the air grew thick with an electric charge that prickled against their skin. In one chamber, they found rows of stasis pods, most empty but a few still active. The occupants appeared human, yet their features were subtly wrong. Elongated limbs, translucent skin, eyes that glowed faintly even in suspended animation. Chun theorized these might be the original researchers, transformed by whatever experiments they had conducted. As they delved deeper into the station's archives, the true scope of Valdir's purpose became terrifyingly clear. The facility hadn't been abandoned due to catastrophe. It had been sealed away deliberately. Logs revealed successful tests in manipulating fundamental forces of the universe, including time and space itself. Chen's analysis showed evidence of parallel dimension bridging, while Captain Holt uncovered protocols for containing entities that existed outside normal spacetime constraints. The station's AI core, still partially functional, began communicating through environmental controls, adjusting lights and temperature in complex patterns. It's trying to tell us something, Chun realized, his analytical mind racing to decode the message. Ancient security footage showed humanoid figures working alongside beings of pure energy, their forms flickering between dimensions. One log detailed an experiment gone wrong. Researchers attempting to stabilize a portal to another dimension, only to lose control as something emerged on the other side. The entity described in the log was unlike anything Chun or Holt had ever imagined. A shapeless, amorphous mass that consumed matter and energy indiscriminately. Emergency protocols initiated, trapping both human staff and interdimensional entities within the station's modified reality bubble. As Chun struggled to maintain his link with the system, he saw glimpses of what remained trapped, and understood why the station had been sealed away. Their exploration took a dramatic turn when the station's defense mechanisms activated unexpectedly. Energy barriers materialized around Chamber 17, isolating Chun from Captain Holt. Through her helmet cam, he watched as shadowy forms began manifesting in the corridors outside their position. These weren't simple holograms or recorded phenomena. The entities interacted with their surroundings, bending metal and warping light. Captain Holt's military training kicked in as she established a defensive perimeter, using portable shield generators to create safe zones. Chen's connection to the AI provided critical insight. The station's creators had developed containment fields that could temporarily neutralize these entities, but at great cost to the power systems. Working together remotely, they began activating ancient defense protocols, each step forward revealing more about the true nature of the threat they faced. The station's organic components seemed to pulse with increased intensity, as if aware of their actions. Every movement triggered a reaction. Every decision rippled outward in ways they couldn't predict. At one point, Holt narrowly avoided being crushed by a collapsing ceiling as the station attempted to seal off a section overrun by the entities. Chun, meanwhile, fought to keep his connection stable, knowing that losing it would leave them blind to the station's inner workings. We're approaching the moment that will change everything. A breakthrough came when they discovered the station's neural interface chamber, where researchers had once connected directly with the AI core. Chun recognized the technology as a precursor to modern neural links, but infinitely more sophisticated. Against protocol, he initiated a direct connection, flooding his consciousness with overwhelming information. Through this link, he learned that the station's seal had begun deteriorating, allowing contained entities to influence events beyond their prison. Captain Holt monitored his vital signs with growing concern, noting dangerously high neural activity levels. The AI revealed that only a complete system reboot could restore containment, but this would require accessing physical control nodes throughout the station, areas now infested with increasingly aggressive manifestations. As Chen terminated the connection, gasping for air, they realized the truth of their situation. Valdir Station wasn't just a relic of past experiments. It was a ticking time bomb threatening to unleash horrors upon the galaxy. The AI warned them of a countdown, a fail-safe mechanism designed to self-destruct if containment failed completely. With mere hours remaining, they devised a plan to navigate the station's labyrinthine corridors, activate the necessary nodes, and initiate the reboot sequence. But the entities were adapting, becoming smarter and more coordinated with each passing minute. Their journey through the infected sectors became a race against time as systems failed unpredictably. Environmental controls malfunctioned, creating pockets of extreme temperatures and pressure variations. In one particularly harrowing sequence, Captain Holt had to manually override a collapsing bulkhead, while Chun maintained remote access to keep escape routes open. They encountered remnants of the original crew, preserved in stasis pods that had somehow remained functional despite centuries of neglect. Some pods contained only dust, while others held perfectly preserved bodies, their faces frozen in expressions of absolute terror. The AI began providing fragmented warnings about protocol breaches and dimensional resonance, terms that matched nothing in their scientific databases. As they worked their way toward the primary control node, they noticed subtle changes in their own perceptions. Time seemed to stretch and compress, and familiar objects appeared distorted when viewed indirectly. The station was affecting them in ways they couldn't yet fully comprehend. Chun began experiencing vivid hallucinations, seeing shadowy figures moving just out of sight. Holt reported similar sensations, describing a constant feeling of being watched. Despite these challenges, they pressed on, driven by the knowledge that failure meant unleashing unspeakable horrors upon the universe. The breakthrough unfolded in Chamber 24, where geometric patterns aligned perfectly with their previous discoveries. As Chun interfaced with the central control node, the station responded violently. Bulkheads shifted, creating new pathways while sealing off others. Captain Holt barely avoided being trapped as the floor beneath her transformed into a lattice of light. Through his connection, Chun witnessed fragments of the station's operational history, scenes of researchers fleeing in terror as their experiments achieved unintended results. The AI revealed that Valdir's team had succeeded in creating stable portals to alternate dimensions, but something had come through during the final test. Emergency protocols initiated, trapping both human staff and interdimensional entities within the station's modified reality bubble. As Chun struggled to maintain his link with the system, he saw glimpses of what remained trapped, and understood why the station had been sealed away. The entities were not merely dangerous. They were sentient, evolving, and hungry. Each moment spent connected to the AI brought him closer to madness, but also closer to the solution. He realized that the key lay in synchronizing the station's organic and mechanical components, forcing them to work in harmony to restore containment. But doing so required precise timing and coordination, tasks made nearly impossible by the chaos surrounding them. Their progress slowed as the station's defenses intensified. Automated turrets, dormant for centuries, sprang to life, firing plasma bolts that ricocheted wildly through the corridors. Chun and Captain Holt used portable EMP devices to disable the turrets temporarily, but each blast drained precious resources. The temperature dropped suddenly, causing frost to form on their visors and equipment to malfunction. In one chilling encounter, they stumbled upon a chamber filled with floating orbs of light, each emitting low-frequency vibrations that caused their suit systems to glitch. Holt theorized these were remnants of the entity's attempts to communicate, though whether they sought help or destruction remained unclear. Meanwhile, Chun deciphered fragments of the AI's fragmented personality, piecing together its original purpose. The station had been designed not just as a laboratory, but as a sanctuary, a refuge for beings caught between dimensions. Over time, however, the balance had shifted, and the sanctuary had become a prison. The AI begged them to end its suffering, claiming it had endured countless cycles of isolation and despair. Yet Chun knew that destroying the AI would mean losing their only guide to restoring containment. Torn between compassion and necessity, they forged ahead, determined to find a solution that spared no one, not even themselves. The climax unfolded in the station's core chamber, where reality itself seemed to unravel. As Chun and Captain Holt initiated the reboot sequence, the contained entities launched a desperate assault on their position. Walls dissolved into liquid light, gravity inverted repeatedly, and the very fabric of space-time appeared to tear apart around them. Through the chaos, they maintained their focus, executing the complex procedure while avoiding lethal hazards. The AI provided crucial support, sacrificing peripheral systems to maintain core functionality. At the critical moment, when all seemed lost, Chun made a split-second decision that would determine the fate of billions. Drawing upon everything they'd learned about the station's unique properties, he implemented an untested protocol that forced the entities back into their dimensional prison. The station shuddered violently as containment restored, sealing the threat away once more. Exhausted and battered, they collapsed to the floor, their suits' oxygen reserves dangerously low. For a brief moment, there was silence, a fragile peace that felt almost sacred. Then, slowly, the station's system stabilized, returning to a semblance of normalcy. The AI, now limited but stable, thanked them in a voice tinged with gratitude and sorrow. It promised to remain vigilant, ensuring the entities never escaped again. In the aftermath of the crisis, the station stabilized but remained fundamentally altered. Systems functioned differently, responding to their commands with unexpected efficiency. Chun and Captain Holt documented extensive evidence of advanced technologies that could revolutionize human civilization, but also carried the terrible knowledge of what lay contained within. The AI, now limited but stable, offered to share its vast repository of knowledge under strict conditions. They discovered that the station's creators had intentionally designed it as both laboratory and prison, knowing full well the risks involved. As they prepared to depart, both were changed forever by their experience, marked by what they'd seen and burdened with decisions about how much to reveal to their superiors. The station's defenses reactivated automatically, preparing to drift once more through uncharted space, its secrets safer but not forgotten. Before leaving, Holt placed a small beacon aboard the station, ensuring humanity could track its location in case of future emergencies. Chun, meanwhile, downloaded terabytes of data, knowing it would take years to fully analyze. As they boarded their vessel and set course for home, neither spoke of what they had endured, though the weight of their shared experience hung heavy in the air. During their return journey, analyzing the data proved nearly as challenging as their ordeal aboard the station. Chun spent sleepless cycles decrypting files that revealed astonishing possibilities in energy manipulation and matter transformation. Captain Holt coordinated with distant command centers, carefully crafting reports that balanced truth with necessary omissions. They found themselves questioning fundamental aspects of reality, having witnessed firsthand that the universe contained far more mysteries than humanity had ever imagined. The station's influence lingered subtly, equipment behaved slightly differently, and both experienced vivid dreams filled with impossible geometries. Their bond strengthened through shared trauma. They debated whether to recommend destroying the station entirely or preserving it as a controlled research site. Each option carried profound implications for the future of space exploration and technological development. Holt argued for preservation, believing the station's potential benefits outweighed its risks. Chan, haunted by memories of the entities, leaned toward destruction, fearing humanity wasn't ready for such power. Ultimately, they agreed to present their findings to a council of experts, trusting that collective wisdom would guide the decision. Yet even as they transmitted their reports, they couldn't shake the feeling that the station's story was far from over. Back at their home base, the debriefing process revealed unexpected complications. Other factions within the research organization showed intense interest in Valdir's technologies, some suggesting immediate exploitation despite the risks. Chun fought to implement stringent safeguards, drawing on his intimate knowledge of the station's dangers. Captain Holt navigated political minefields, protecting their findings from those who would use them recklessly. They discovered that similar signals to the one that drew them to Valdir had been detected elsewhere, suggesting a network of such stations might exist. This possibility raised urgent questions about humanity's readiness to handle such advanced knowledge. Both struggled with the weight of their responsibility, knowing that their decisions would shape the course of technological advancement for generations to come. The line between progress and preservation grew increasingly blurred. During one heated debate, Chun slammed his fist on the table, shouting, "Do you have any idea what we unleashed out there? What if we make the same mistakes again?" Holt placed a calming hand on his shoulder, her voice firm but gentle. "We won't," she promised. "Not if we stay vigilant." Together, they drafted recommendations for international oversight, proposing a global coalition to monitor and regulate the use of Valdir's technologies. Months later, their work bore unexpected fruit while raising new concerns. Technologies reverse-engineered from Valdir's systems began transforming various fields. Medical treatments utilizing dimensional principles saved countless lives, while new energy solutions promised to end resource conflicts. Yet each advancement came with unsettling side effects. Devices occasionally malfunctioned in ways that suggested residual influence from the station. Chun dedicated himself to understanding these anomalies, establishing protocols to prevent catastrophic failures. Captain Holt rose through the ranks, becoming a key advocate for responsible technological development. Reports of similar stations began confirming their earlier suspicions, forcing humanity to confront its place in a universe far stranger than previously understood. The pair maintained regular contact with the quarantine station, monitoring its status and learning more about its purpose. Each revelation brought both wonder and dread. In private moments, Chun confessed to Holt that he sometimes felt the station calling to him, whispering promises of untold power. She reassured him that they had done the right thing, though doubt lingered in her eyes. Together, they vowed to remain watchful, knowing that the line between savior and destroyer was thinner than anyone dared admit. Years after their initial discovery, David Chun and Rebecca Holt found themselves at the forefront of a new era in human exploration. The knowledge gained from Valdir Station had indeed changed humanity's trajectory, but in ways neither could have predicted. Advanced civilizations reached out, recognizing Earth's possession of forbidden technologies. The station's creators, long thought extinct, made contact through ancient relay systems embedded in their design. Humanity stood at a crossroads, to embrace accelerated development or proceed with measured caution. Chun and Holt became living legends, their experiences shaping policies that balanced progress with safety. Though officially retired, they continued advising on matters related to dimensional research and containment protocols. Late at night, they often met in secret, reviewing updates from the station and debating the ethical implications of their discoveries. The station drifted still, a silent guardian of secrets that had reshaped their world. Its legacy served as both inspiration and warning, reminding future generations of the awesome responsibility that came with cosmic knowledge. As they gazed at the stars, they knew that the universe held infinite mysteries and infinite dangers, and they were ready, should the call come again, to face whatever lay beyond the next horizon.